whenever we look at what wasn't good about last season, how like variable we were. Like the inconsistencies weren't only in performance; it was like a night and day performance. Like for not knowing who was in the teams, you'd think there were two different teams. However, that's irrelevant, and that feels irrelevant for what we've been doing this preseason, where the guys have got to, and the way we're looking to play now. Um, Feels like it's so much better drilled into us, and feels on the pitch like we're definitely moving in the right direction, and I'm excited about Friday to see that, and I'm excited about how we can put that on, and that'll hopefully springboard some of our potential into stepping into that.
Yourself, correct me if I'm wrong here, maybe the first time you've been here for a whole pre-season, you haven't gone away with Ireland or the Lions, and
Yeah,
how has it benefited you? And
it's actually been great to see being able to sit here and or train with the guys and see that, and be a part of every single week, and grow through this process with them has been great. It's been seeing those young guys um, stepping up and really owning what we want them to do. Probably with having a smaller cohort of guys with the national squad, we've been able to have a lot of that time together. We've been building into this first game, and this is back into preseason. It's been a real focus of ours to make sure that we're going to hit the ground running with this home game against Dragons.
just see a lot of those younger players now starting to take more responsibility, more leadership. Now they've maybe played away at the European champions and they've played at the losers.
Definitely, I think there's a maturity element of it too. And I can see guys like Jumer and Tom O'Toole, Michael Lowry, Ethan McElroy, Nick Timoney, all those guys. Like I said at the start, who wrongfully I still call the young guys, but they're this club's theirs, and you can see them wanting and hurting when things don't go right, and wanting to put it right. So that gives me huge confidence in what's to come over the next season or two.
Cheers, Andy.
You're the obviously the club skipper, you're the focal point, and it's been hugely disappointing for you, especially when you haven't been able to play as much. And it was very interrupted again last season. When guys sort of look to you for leadership, what are you trying to do here? Is it has to be on field, or is it both off field or on field? What do you do differently this season, or is there something you can say that's different?
Um, I think there's definitely differences um between on field and off field. We- We've got a huge amount of experience in those guys who have mentioned there. We lost a lot of experience for the last two seasons, maybe with age, but the knowledge within the squad, the way guys conduct themselves on a weekly basis, like you'll get no one better than someone like Michael Lowry, who sets such examples in terms of leadership. I've always said this, I lean a lot on the guys who have leadership around me too for certain aspects. Um, but I have like so much faith in sort of the group of guys who are around me, and the group of guys who are willing to step up and take the bull by the horns, and do that. Another one who I haven't mentioned there is Tom Stewart, and Tom's obviously off the back of a frustrating foot injury within the last 18 months, and then building back into it again last season. Probably didn't have the games that he wanted, but again, he's another one who I think has an incredibly exciting future ahead, and um, those young guys have provided like a real, in my opinion, solid base for this club going forward.
Mm. And being here for the entire summer, I think Kieran so alluded to it. It must have seemed strange to you not to be involved in it some way with Ireland and so on.
Yeah, definitely. Initially, I found it a wee bit unsettling because towards the back end of last season, it was a real target of mine to get back for the last two, three games, to then try and go on the summer tour, which I was fit for, and then to be um told or when I was informed I wouldn't be going on summer tour, I kind of felt like that's what I've been working towards. Now I find that incredibly frustrating at the time, but in hindsight, how fresh I feel after a really good preseason, I can understand, and I got my head around to that pretty quickly after chatting with a few of the coaches from the national camp, and it's brought me to this point this season this start of the season feeling fresh and feeling excited about getting back and playing.
So, I mean, basically, you're feeling in as good a position as you can be yourself, but also with the squad to try and turn things around and really hit the ground running.
Yeah, no, the way the guys are, the way we've been training, it's exciting. You feel a different buzz. It feels different. It feels fresh. Fresh is the word that I feel most fits how it feels out there at the minute. That, and I'm really excited about seeing how we can sort of get the ball rolling and start us firing.
Thanks, Andy.
This freshness now, you think that's probably put you in a better position to challenge, whereas what for the November internationals?
Potentially, like, obviously the old cliches all still stand for a reason. Like I'm fully aware of how stacked Ireland are in my position, and I understand that there's definitely pathways being made there, there's routes being made for players going forward, and I get that, but I'll definitely be trying to play the way I know I can to put myself in best position for selection. So, that's where I sit on it. I'm not I'll be playing as well as I can between now and then.
And what's it like having Uli Falloon back in the camp?
Well, he's been good. Obviously, he was here for a good large part of last season. Getting him and having him being able to really get his D principles down over pre-season's been good. He's been great. He adds a real hard edge, and there's definitely he has a lot of respect from the players, given that they can look at him and know such a tough player that he was, and that carries a lot of weight when he's saying what he says.
Mark Sexton's here too. You've played with his brother. Any similarities?
Loads. Sound similar. They're equally in all about detail. They have a real passion for it. You can see that in him. You can see that in the way he reacts when things go well, and the way he reacts when things don't go well, and which is great. It's kind of it's what we need, and it's kind of what we've felt is one of the aspects which I felt this preseason has been different. It's been fresh, and it's got guys excited. It's got guys listening. It's got guys tuned in, and that's looking forward to this weekend. That's the area of the game I'm excited to see most.
New season, new optimism.
Absolutely. We've had a really good pre-season. We spent a number of weeks, like I think it was 8 or 9 weeks, more or less, in pre-season, with a couple of breaks on either side or in the middle. A lot of work's gone in and around our defence, which obviously last season wasn't good enough. We've done a lot of work on the attack side of the ball as well. And trying to build some real consistency and competition between the squad. And if you watched training this morning, you would think that competition is high, high availability of players. Obviously, those long-term injured, we haven't had them for a while, so we're used to them at the moment not being around. But with academy players coming in, we're building some good training sessions, some good competition within that.
How much was this sort of end of season review sort of structural system, or how much can you look at it as in different games, individual errors has just caused it?
It definitely, like end of season review was robust, and it was tough, and we've picked out a number of points that we've gone after. I'm not going to announce what we're going to do, you know what I mean, but that's built into our pre-season. Things on the pitch and things off the pitch as well. So, culturally, I think we look like we're in a better place. We've got a squad of, especially the young players who are a little bit older. It's still very obvious that in certain positions we have inexperienced players. We've got young, talented players, but they don't have massive experience. In other areas, we have loads of experience, and they're the people that we have to lean on in those situations. So, the balance, getting the balance right for each match is going to be huge. Having a high availability of players will allow us sort of mix and match over these early weeks in order to reward people who are going well in training and form a competitive squad going forward.
You mentioned that the fans were right. If it almost just want to change the fans coaches midway through the season.
Yeah, it was obviously a difficult time as well. You know what I mean? Johnny Bell had given so much to Ulster, and we were sorry to see him go. But these are things that happen. Willie's now sort of had that 6 months or probably 5 months in that role. But coming into the pre-season, it was an opportunity to restart that side of the ball and bring it in a slightly different direction. So, what we're hoping is that you'll see a more aggressive defensive line, and a lot of our contact work that we've done in the pre-season. We'll hopefully see that come to fruition on Friday night.
Mark's obviously joined as well. I maybe saw a bit of evidence of a slightly different attacking shape against Edinburgh. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. But to have him here,
Yeah.
and also now to have a coaching ticket that you're very familiar with as well.
Yeah, from a coaching point of view, we're really happy. I'm personally really happy with the guys that we have. We've obviously worked together before. He's added a new dimension. We haven't really changed hugely what we were doing in attack, but what we've done is that we've probably tidied up and clarified how we want to do it. A little bit more prescriptive with the guys in relation to what really good looks like. Shown them some good pictures, and the guys have responded really well. Mark has had a big impact since coming in and at the start of pre-season.
It's obviously a marathon, not a sprint, but you know yourself, you have to start off well, particularly the way things closed up last season. That obviously has to be the priority. And I mean, how difficult has it been to get everybody focused on that?
It hasn't been difficult at all. I think coming off the back of last year, guys are disappointed going into the summer. Guys feel like we, from staff and players, we all felt like there's probably a bit more in the tank. And what we want to try and do is maximize the performance of this team. That's what we're going after all pre-season. So we want to build some consistency in our performances. Within the same games last year, we were up and down, so we can't have that. You know what I mean? And week to week, the same amount of points are available in this first game as they will be in our very last game of the year, and we got to make sure that we approach each game with the right attitude and with a feeling that we're going after the teams that we're playing against.
Obviously, you can't have a repeat, but also the injuries that someone else that befell you last year were really, really tough. I mean, everyone has to deal with it, but it just seems so.
Yeah. Like I really don't want to spend time making, thinking about excuses of last year. We want to really move forward. The last year, the cards that were dealt, could we have done a little bit better? We probably could have. But at the time, we were in a difficult situation. What we have to try and do is make sure that if something like that happens again, is that we're more prepared for what's coming. And the experiences of the likes of James McCormick playing against Toulouse away, Jude and Ben Carson playing most of our European Cup matches, together. That's going to stand to us. The experience that Jack got last year, slotting in and out half, going to Bordeaux and doing well over there, and playing against the best team in Europe last year. They're all things that are going to stand to our young players, and I suppose it'll drive them in relation to their hunger to do it again, in relation to playing again, and that'll also put pressure on our senior players. So we're at this moment of time, injury wise, we're doing well, and competition wise within the squad, it's high.
And from a coaching perspective, how have you refreshed and reset as well? So that was your first full season.
Yeah. Look, personally, I was felt beaten up by the end of the year, but took a good break. Came up with a decent plan with our coaches and some outside influence that I had from a guy called Dara Sheridan, who worked in the RFU, has recently moved on, and we just went around plotting how we can move this thing forward, move Ulster forward, and that's what that's what I done. Once we had a plan in place, we got away and refreshed in relation to some holidays and stuff like that. So it was a good time.
Thanks, Richie.
Well,
You spoke about what those young players learned last year. So that's the challenge you're laying down to them now, is take it up to the next level this year.
absolutely. Like at some stage, guys are going to be left out of our squad. You know what I mean? And it's how hard are they willing to work to get back in. So some opportunities last year came on the back of a number of injuries. Some opportunity, so that was the case. So this year going forward, there might be more competition for some of those guys to get back into the squad. But when they do get in there, or when they're in training, it's really important that they're putting their hand up, and we're seeing that at the moment.
Um, does the team have a sports psychologist?
Yeah.
The-
Yeah.
Just amount of games they lost last year, it was just a kick of the ball last few minutes, but still ended in defeat. So that could be hard to take for a lot of those young guys.
Yeah, we're not going back to last year, so we've parked all that and we've moved forward. We put some stuff in place in relation to how we deal with pressure. We put some stuff in place as how we react to what's happening on the pitch as a team. We're looking forward, not looking back.
And just finally, the Dragons themselves, pretty much a whole new team. Does that make it harder to prep for them?
It is. They've obviously played 2 games in pre-season, which we've had a look at. They've had 2 decent wins, beat Scarlets, a strong Scarlets team at home. So they've brought in, I think, 14 new players, and quite a number of them are ex-internationals as well. So bringing more experience in, their pack have looked quite good. They've been dominant in and around the maul. Scrum has been sloppy, but they've been getting a few penalties out of that. So there'll be a bit of pressure on our forward pack, and it's really important that we get a quality possession so that we can play the type of rugby that we want to play.
Yeah, it's nice. I came back from my knee. I was in '96, and thought definitely last season, like looking forward as a goal to get my 100th, but ultimately got cut short, probably for the right reason as well, just trying to get myself sorted. So I'm buzzing. Yeah, 2 for 1. Started the season opener and 100 cap, so it'll be a special night. Looking forward to it.
How much are you looking forward to this season? Setting the record straight that last year was just a one-off blimp, and you're going to get Ulster back, up to the playoffs. Is that real motivation this year? Added motivation?
Yeah, definitely. Like as I said, people, we don't want that a repeat of last year at all. It's not enjoyable going out and losing every week, or coming in a meeting on Monday and sitting through a meeting where you're not putting your best out there. So I think everyone's had a good reflection period of the off season, and a very, very tough pre-season that's got us in a good place to change that this season.
And of course, the video reviews at the end of the season must have been harder than previous years.
Yeah, well, it's just more disappointing, because it wasn't even really skill level that was letting us down. It was just like our actual work ethic, like fundamentals and stuff off the ball. So that we've really hammered that this year. Like Mark Sexton's been very good at our back in game stuff and getting involved as soon as possible, instead of taking away a break when the ball's going away from you. So you have to be present at all times in the game.
Yeah. Richie mentioned that there's been a bit of a culture change as well since he's come in. What's the biggest difference that you've noticed?
Well, it's just, I feel like when I first started, like Dan, for instance, and Paley and stuff, and JP, you get called out in meetings if you weren't doing something well enough. And I don't know why that kind of filtered out a bit more, like over the past season or 2. But it seems to have got back to that now, where, if you're not putting your best out there, you're not working hard for your teammates, you're getting called out for it. And no one wants to be in that position. So it's like, to summarize, it's probably more accountability. You don't want to let your teammates down. You don't want to let the coaches down for all the good work that we've put in during pre-season. And, we ultimately want to change our performances. So there's no point just going back to old habits just because it's a bit harder,
Cheers, Ian.
What's the difference between you as a player and a person from that first cap to 100?
Oh my, a lot. Like, I think from when I started to now, the roller coaster that's went on is it's pretty cool to look back on in some ways. But ultimately you have your career as a rugby player and stuff, but I feel like all the stuff that's happened between that's led me to be a better person for the future and stuff as well, and just the way I deal with things. I had a very, very tough off season there, working with a mentor and stuff now, just trying to lifestyle changes and just be more consistent with everything. Just have someone there to kind of pump my tires and tell me if I'm not doing something right and all that kind of stuff. So the off season and the pre-season there has been like a monumental life change for me. So I'm hopefully coming into the season a bit more clued in and ready to go again.
Is that on the pitch, off the pitch, when a dad's sleeping, ready, relaxing, just getting away, switching off?
It's more off the pitch stuff, just like good habits, good morning routine, and get myself into a good place so when I come in here that I'm ready to train, I'm fully present the whole time I'm in here, instead of just floating through the day sometimes where you're not feeling it.
What does it mean to get that 100th cap? Because I'm probably old enough to remember when Gary Longwell was the first ever Ulster player to do it. And he used to play 6 games a season back in the day.
Yeah.
That's a bit more, but still to get it, is it something you look on with parade, personal milestone, or a lot more with a James Hume story to be written?
Yeah, exactly. I would have liked to reach it earlier, obviously, but there's a lot of roadblocks in the way. But as I said, it's part of my journey. So if you can overcome all the stuff that's happened over the number of seasons that I've been playing here, and still rack up a decent amount of caps, but it would be really ideal. But to get to 100's pretty special, to get that milestone that I've been waiting for probably a couple of seasons now.
Well, I assume you'll be leading the team out.
Maybe. We'll see. See if they let me.
What I think it might, not sure if it was yourself or not, but the first game you played, you were buzzing afterwards because you got your first cap, but it was a horrendous defeat at Munster, if I'm right.
Yeah.
I think, and you and Mikey, I think, made your debuts there for the bench.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Bizarre, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very strange. Then came on and KB broke his thumb. Angus Curtis had like horrific cramp, so it came on and everyone was out of position in the back line, and I was like, oh my god, I'm playing against Peter Mahoney and CJ Stander and stuff here. I was like, this is amazing, and we got obviously absolutely hooked. But after the game, I was like, oh, that was amazing. I want more of that. So to get up to 100 this Friday would be, it's class.
You only saw you 4 times last season. What actually happened in the end? When we've spoken to you since, it was a back issue. It was said that something happened, or
Yeah, so I came back from my knee and I was probably too heavy. I thought I was fine, but it was probably too heavy. I ended up then getting like a lot of nerve pain down from my back, and got a scan. I'd had 2 bulging discs on 2 levels that were pinching nerves going down into my foot. So, it was nasty. Like, it's crazy to think that like I couldn't even walk the dog for 20 minutes, or I couldn't sleep properly because it was so painful, but I was still training and playing games. I was just trying to work through it because I wanted to play. But then ultimately, when I got to Bordeaux, I was in so much pain. Like, I just couldn't do it anymore. So that's where I sat down with it was my fault as well, because I wasn't as truthful with the medical team and the staff as I should have been, because I wanted to play rugby. But that was a reflection period, so I got a nerve injection, and then obviously just worked the whole way through the off season to get myself in a good place now.
so you didn't have to, no surgery or anything, just
Just an injection and a bit of rest, bit of TLC.
just shows you, doesn't it? You're so desperate that you'll play through it, which obviously you were doing.
Yeah.
Mark Sexton's, he's already been mentioned. What for you personally has he set you? What sort of goals has he set for you?
I feel like he's filled me full of confidence that maybe I've lost over the past year or two, with how much potential I have if I do these things right. So it's just there's parts of my game where he expects me to be firing properly, because he knows ultimately that will give me the best results. I'll give the team the best results. Very straight to you. There's no mucking about with him, like which I react very, very well to as in a coach. So yeah, he's been very good for me. So I'm looking forward to continue to work with him.
And obviously the mantra is we got to be better this season, and we will be, no doubt. I mean, it has to be propelling you forward.
Yeah, for sure. Like, as I said, reflection at the end of last season, a lot of moving forward in pre-season, like standards have been lifted and a lot expected from each other. I feel like a lot of stuff, if you watch, we reviewed a bit of Dragons last year from our game, and like
Scored a try.
March, yeah,
Scored a try.
yeah, but it was horrifically out of shape. But we reviewed that game, and it's honestly like a different team when you watch our training and stuff now. So I'm hoping, you know, we put the best version out of ourselves there on Friday.
So just one more thing, when you played your first game then against Edinburgh, I don't think you saw it through. You had to come off, didn't you? Maybe you didn't have to come off. Did you stay the whole 80? I can't remember now because there were so many subs. The Edinburgh friendly. That was your first.
Oh
game.
no, I got pulled at 50. So because the squad was so big. So
fair enough.
yeah, felt really good though. Like
That must have been very special to be able to do that after
Yeah.
so long away again.
like I haven't felt that good in a game in a while, even before I did my knee, you know, because we were getting, I think I was 16 games deep that season. So I hadn't felt that good on a pitch in a while. So it was quite nice to see a lot of the hard work that I put in on the off season, because like, you know, people were on holidays and I was trying to come in every day just to get myself strong at physio. Worked hard with Simon Harden and Christina really every day, just trying to get better. So it's a nice reward, that as well, and also like getting a full pre-season under the belt with no problems.